Hi, my name is Becca Roberts, and I'm going to be talking to you today about Chapter 3 in Todd Whitaker's book, What Great Principles Do Differently, Develop an Accurate Sense of Self. So part of my motivation for choosing this chapter out of Todd Whitaker's book was because as I've gone through my career, I'm realizing more and more of who I am as a teacher, and I'm defining what myself is. So I figured let's start there. So me. I've really become aware of myself as I've gone through my career. And as I think about where I want to take my career next, I've been really thinking about what are my strengths, my needs, my weaknesses. I've learned that I'm a pretty loud, energetic, excited person. I'm your eager beaver, your go-getter, your risk taker. I'm the person that you want on your team if you want to try something completely off the wall. But how will those help me as I transition into a leadership role? How do I respond to others who may be intimidated by that? And how can I apply my strengths to a leadership position? I was hopeful by reading this chapter that I would be able to think about those things. Some of the things I want to work on are maybe asking more questions and not always being so eager just to go for it. So Whitaker says, don't wait for someone to come to you. Instead, go out, get involved. And that's exactly what I want to do. Part of his chapter is that it's more than an open door. It's more than just saying, I'm here for you. My door is always open. But it's actually being out there. It's being seen in the hallways, in the classrooms. So when we think about these things, we need to think about self-awareness. I love this comic because it says the funny thing about self-awareness is that we always wish for it for other people. And isn't that the truth? We're always thinking if only other people had self-awareness of their strengths and weaknesses. As you look at that comic, I love how the elephant in the room is saying, hey, maybe you should start with yourself. But that's not what she was thinking. So self-awareness, as Whitaker takes it, it's broken up into three pieces. Who you are, what you do, and how others perceive you. So what we really need to do is intentionally open the door to feedback. Not just saying, my door is always open, but opening up for feedback. So how do you know if you're doing a good job? Part of when I was reading this chapter was thinking about, well, how do we know? And I found this research from the NCPEA by Gurley and Askmay, O'Neill, and Dozier. And they were looking at it. Do teachers and principals agree on how the principals are doing? Is how the principals are being perceived the same as how they're perceiving themselves? And they wanted to look into that further. Interesting enough, past research has shown that principals generally perceive themselves as doing a pretty good job, even when their teachers don't think that. And in the research, it says that the principal, the leader, plays a critical role in all of the learning throughout the whole school. They have to have that continual and routine engagement. They have to continually be looking to better themselves. And so the research looks at it and says, all right, if a principal thinks they're doing well, is that the way the teachers think they're doing? And interestingly enough, the results of the study showed that it was about the same. And the researchers were confused because that's not what past research had said. Past research had said that the principals rate themselves so much higher than the teachers. But when I looked at these graphs and I analyzed them, I noticed a pattern. The principals tend to rate themselves a lot lower in the elementary schools than they did in the high school. Is that because we're out seeking feedback in elementary? And we're less of, you come to me and I'll go to you? So what's the takeaway? Big takeaways. Ask for input. Ask your teachers for support. Don't just say, come to me. You go to them. Survey your staff. Part of in that research was a survey that they sent out to the entire staff. And looking at that, don't be afraid to look for input. Use a suggestion box. Keep it anonymous if that's what your teachers want. But seek for ways that you can improve yourself. Whitaker says, the very best principals are acutely aware of how they come across and continually work to make sure that this self-perception is accurate. What better way to check for accuracy than to actually ask the teachers themselves? So how do you do it? You have to be involved. You have to be available and you have to be visible. Visit classrooms. I put the picture of the Kool-Aid man in here because it made me think. When a principal walks through your door, it shouldn't be a big surprise like the Kool-Aid man coming through your door saying, "Oh yeah," and he's there. But rather, it should be like, "Oh yeah, the principal's here again. I'm so excited to see her." Be in the hallways. Say hello to your teachers. Say hello to the students. And seek that informal feedback. Oh, you see a teacher walking the hallway and they look like they're busy? See if you can help them and engage in an informal conversation with them. Ask them, what do you think about the upcoming PD? Ask them about last week's staff meeting. All of those things are ways that you can seek informal feedback. So don't wait for someone to come to you. Instead, get out and get involved. And I love that quote from Whitaker because he's really saying, don't just say my door is always open, but actually be out and be available. But this is a lot harder in practice. Sounds pretty perfect in theory. So we say, get out and get involved. But as we know, administrators, principals, leaders, there's more than just seeking feedback and being there for your teachers. There's hundreds of emails every day, phone calls to parents, paperwork, and meetings that we have to go to. All of those things take us away from being there for teachers, for being able to be there in the classroom and in the hallway. So we have to find a way to balance it all. We have to be available, we have to seek the feedback, and we have to rely on those strong teachers. Because strong teachers want constructive criticism just like we do. And we have to balance that with the district meetings, the requirements, parents, paperwork, and we just have to learn to balance it all. So Whitaker ends with this. When you want to be good at what you do, asking for guidance counts as a sign of strength. So don't see it as seeking feedback as that you're weak at your job or you don't know what you're doing, but rather you want to be better at what you do. My references were the research that I used and Whitaker's book. Thank you.